GermanWings Flight 9525 has been in the news the last couple of days. Rescuers are trying to go over some pretty harsh terrain in a pretty remote corner of the French Alps looking for the remains of 150 people. And I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I'm going to because of what has been horrible corporate media coverage of this. I turned on CNN yesterday and I saw Wolf Blitzer introduce an 8-person panel to discuss what is admittedly an unusual commercial aviation crash, no distress call, and some other, very rapid descent, a nosedive type descent. No question that this is unusual, but Wolf Blitzer introduces another reporter and an 8-person panel, 10 people sitting there on CNN discussing this. This is tragic. Every single airplane crash, every single car crash, motorcycle crash, it's tragic. It affects the victims. It affects the families and friends of the victims. But it doesn't affect nearly as many people as so many issues that are regularly ignored by corporate media. And the big problem I have, Lewis, is people start to think commercial aviation is very unsafe when we see this coverage.
Yes, it does seem to be irresponsible in that way, but it's human nature. I mean, this is what drives the ratings. This is what people want to see.
It's salacious. It's titillating. Yeah. People see it. They see these recreations of the crash. And as we'll talk about on the bonus show today, actually footage of other crashes floating around as if it were of this GermanWings flight. But so you're saying that it's really a ratings thing. People are driven. It's like looking over on the highway when you see an accident.
Yeah, when I look at this story and the Malaysian flights, I think to myself, how far removed are we from the Coliseum? I think not very, because what we watch on TV, movies, video games, fictional shows, books, and even mainstream news coverage, I mean, it's really not that different, is it?
And a lot of people that I know truly start to get more fearful of flying when you see this. I was recently speaking with a couple of people who said, David, in 2014, there were a bunch of plane crashes. It seems like it's getting more dangerous to fly. And I say, hold on, look at the data. The death per kilometer traveled, the death per time traveled in an airplane has been decreasing over time. And consider for a second, deaths per billion kilometers are 0.05 for airplanes, 0.4 for bus, 0.6 for rail, and 3.1 by car. The death per kilometer traveled rate is 62 times higher for automobile travel than by plane. And you could say, well, David, hold on, that's misleading because a lot of people travel in one airplane, more than in one car, and people travel much faster in airplanes. So there's more kilometers of travel. Fine. But if you look at deaths per billion hours of travel, it's still 4 times higher for automobiles than for airplanes. This is not really good for anybody. It's making people scared about what is actually one of the safest modes of transit.
But you have to admit that even you and I, next time we get on a plane, will probably be thinking about this GermanWings flight at least for a moment, will you not?
Maybe it would cross my mind. There's no question. I mean, certainly, awareness of the fact that planes can crash probably crosses most people's minds. But the irrational fear around it's getting so dangerous now is what I think is really, really a terrible thing.